are live.
Let's go. Hello. Ooh, I'm too far away, too close to my camera. Let's try it again. Hello there. I'm Mark Griffiths, and look over there. It's Neil WIlliams, and we've just been commentating on the Wrexham game. So please get in touch with any questions or comments on the match, anything in general about the club. It was a bit disappointing, wasn't it, Neil? Really, I mean, a half-strength team, shall we say? First half I was sort of fairly happy, but second half Leamington the better side.
Yeah, Leamington far better side, and they should have went in the second half with the chances they had on goal. Dibble made a number of good saves, and they made a couple of fluffs in front of goal. But I think we create one chance in the second half, and not many chances in the first half. I think the desire to win was there with Leamington. Unfortunately, yeah, that's what happens when you put out a weakened team, I guess. Is the desire there to win the game? So you put out a weakened team, or do you put out a full strength squad and go for the win? Depends where our priorities are this season, Mark.
Well, precisely right. Yeah. Hopefully, somebody's mentioned the mic's not very loud. It's blasting away in my ears, so hope it's okay for you now. And Owain Yogurts. What was the score? Right, 0-0. And then we lost 6-5 on penalties. All 5 penalties by both sides were scored in the shootout, so it went to sudden death. Leamington missed a penalty, which meant that Horsfield had a penalty to send us through, but it was saved. And then Leamington scored their next penalty, and it was... I've got my notes. Who missed the last penalty? Can't remember now.
Wasn't Count?
No.
Who?
Jeffrey, yeah. Anthony Jeffrey
had his
missed.
saved.
Yeah, and so two good saves. I mean, Weaver, the keeper, got his hands to 2 good penalties,
which crept into the back of the net. Yeah, so
yeah, absolutely.
It could have been all over and done with after 3 or 4 penalties. But yeah, he was a good keeper. He made the right choice when he was diving, and he could have kept a couple more of ours out. Yeah, exactly.
Thomas and Jarvis scored in the 5. And they were great saves. Although they scored, they were nearly great saves. They were both good penalties. Both hit pretty much the same spot, halfway up the right post, just inside, with power. And that power was decisive because the keeper got both hands to both of them.
He did, yeah.
And could only push them into the roof of the net. Great efforts that was. Hello, BLR Laser. The scorers for Wrexham were Thomas, Davis, Jarvis, Carrington, and Durrell.
Yep.
And then it was Horsfield and Jeffrey who missed them. So
I wouldn't say missed, they just had them saved. I mean, they were good penalties, basically, Mark, weren't they? It was just the keeper made 2 good saves, and he chose to dive the right way. And the second one, I think, with Jeffries, he saved it, and then he also double saved it with his legs. So that's football games, unfortunately.
That's it. Yeah, the one from Jeffrey drove it hard down the middle, about halfway up. Keeper committed to his right, but managed to leave a foot there, get his stretcher hand back, and just about got something on it, didn't he, really? Yep. The Horsfield one I thought wasn't so good. It was down the middle, drilled quite hard, quite flat. Keeper got down to it pretty well. Hello, Kenzie. I thought it was you. Owen Yogurt saying, imagine losing to Leamington. Well, Leamington were good. I mean, remember, we picked, should we say, a half-strength team, perhaps? Yeah. And Leamington picked a full-strength team. They're just outside the promotion zone, a league below us. And
so there's not many places between us actually in the league at all. So it's I'd say we're on a par with with League 2, and I'm sure they're both north and south are on a par with a lot of the teams in our division. So it's one of those games. Unfortunately, as me and Mark were saying earlier, we've both been there when we're playing up teams high up the league, and we've turned them over, and it happens in football.
Yeah, exactly. We had our big chance was very late on, of course, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Durrell from outside the box really smashed in a shot. Keeper parried it. Yeah. Came back out to Jarvis, about 15 yards out. Not the easiest of chances, but the keeper was off balance, and on the stretch he volleyed it just wide the left-hand post, and that was about 5 minutes from the end.
Yeah.
But apart from that, we didn't create enough, did we? That was the issue.
That was our main issue. We didn't create enough. There was a lot of good balls in the box, especially during the first half from both wings. From mind's gone blank. But we had good cross in the box, but there was just nobody there on the end of those balls into the box to put in the back of the net. Our strikers had a couple of headers that they could have put away, but one was difficult and a bit behind and a bit powerful. But there was certainly a good one in the first half where you think normal striker would have buried that in the back of the net with a header. So yeah, but we can always talk about what could and should have happened. But at the end of the day, you got to look at the score and we're out of the cup. But as I was saying to Mark earlier, is it a benefit because we with the situation at the moment, we're going to have a lot more games cancelled and. Games are going to become very congested come to the end of the season.
Exactly, and it's I mean, we've just heard now that we're going into lockdown at midnight again. Fixtures lists are going to be decimated.
Yeah.
Or we know that anyway, and so I don't like losing games, but nonetheless,
but
actually having that happen might not be. It might help us in the league when other teams are getting really bogged down, possibly later on in the year.
Yeah, we all like to win games, Mark, and we've both said that. But to me, this one, I don't feel the pain from losing this game. Like a league game where we drop points. So yeah, maybe I don't know, disguise it. We're out of the cup. So what? Let's concentrate on the league this season.
Yeah, that's.
But we've said that again previous seasons.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, when you finish 17th, you suddenly wish you had a cup run.
Yeah.
Owen Yogurts. I'm enjoying your name, Owen. I hope it's not your family name as Yogurts. That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? The Yogurts, the Yogurts from Colwyn, old Colwyn. Yeah?
No,
the Yogurtses.
Never heard the Yogurts.
He says we should have played a full strength side to make sure we won.
And I tend to agree with you, and also because Mark and I were talking before, because we've had the stop start season, we've missed so many games. To play as a full team and get the whole team out there on the pitch together just for match practice. I tend to agree with you. We should have put the full team squad out there. But that's a choice the manager made and rested a few players. And I say we haven't got a game now till the 28th of January away at Stockport. So there's a long gap again. So it would possibly benefited all those players that he left out to be playing again today.
Yeah, I was of the same opinion. I thought we'd pick a pretty strong team. I thought Dibble was bound to be given his chance as trophy goalkeeper, if you like. But I thought, again, we tried a different shape on Tuesday. And I don't know, it worked in the sense of we won, but in the first half didn't work because we were terrible. So I thought maybe, okay, you'll play
again today.
Yeah. And we did, but we tried it again with 2 of the 3 centre-backs different and 1 of the wing-backs different. And so I thought we might maybe give more familiar players a chance. I do understand, though. I mean, players like the 2 centre-backs and Young have not missed a game all season. Harris has only missed the 1 game he's been suspended for. Yeah. Thomas has barely missed a game. Oh, Thomas played today, might have.
But saying that, they haven't played for 2 weeks. So, before Weymouth, we haven't played for 2 weeks. So... They're not overtired. They're not
exactly. That's another point. For the next month, we are playing on average roughly a game every 10 days. We've got 9 days till Stockport.
Correct.
So you could have argued there was a chance to play a properish team.
Correct. Yeah.
And maybe we missed it a bit in midfield. Young and Harris in that second half digging in and giving a bit more scrap, perhaps.
Difficult to say.
I know. Yeah.
Leamington upped their game in the second half. They were a far better team. And they created a number of chances as we discussed. Apart from Dibble made a few good saves and defenders put in good blocks to stop striking on goal. But on paper they were the better team and deserved to win it in normal time. Never mind on penalties. But that's down to us putting a weakened team out or not having the right attitude because they're a team below us in the league below us.
Yeah, exactly. Kenzie asking, does Ryan Reynolds stream the games live? He does sometimes, definitely. He and Rob McElhenney certainly have been watching a lot of games live. They've listened to the commentaries sometimes as well.
I know he watched the Weymouth game live because he put a tweet out at the end. So I think he definitely watched the game live on Tuesday night.
He got through to the final whistle as well. That's fair play to him. Could have understood if he'd switched off at half time, but he got rewarded. That's good.
Most people got through on the phone if full time was 2-2.
Yeah.
Like I did, but to find out next morning when I woke up that the 1-3-2 was a real nice surprise.
Exactly. I don't know. Right, any more questions coming in? You're not having many at the moment, so I don't know. Positives, I would say, just positives on performances as well. And some of the players who came in did take their chance. I mean, okay, Carrington, firstly, I mean, I think no matter what, we should give him the time if he's fit. And he looked very good, didn't he, I thought?
Carrington's always a solid player, whether he plays in midfield or he's played in defence as well, and he's always been positive. You know, some balls he put through today were great through balls. You know, the two young lads that came on, you know, they played really well on the wings together. So there are some good positives, and on Rutherford on this wing and Horsfield, you know, they played really well together in the first half. But second half, what changed in the second half, Mark? I don't know, but they seem to basically work out our gameplay possibly and close us down a lot quicker. So
I think I felt that the wing backs, like you said, Rutherford and Davis caused problems in the first half, and they made the pitch very wide.
They did.
And I think they managed to close off the supply to them, and that made a big difference. The fact that we were doing that as well, I think I said in commentary, opened up spaces in the middle for players like Carrington and Cleworth to hit the strikers direct.
But then we should possibly then mix it up again and change it all again, which we didn't do. So
there's ways to counter things.
Correct.
But I think they made quite telling alterations. Cleworth, I thought, did very well first game of the season. Looked solid defensively.
Yeah, you know, he had a few dodgy passing in the first half, but you know, he's a young lad. It's his first team or first game he's played for the first team, a full game, and it's going to take a young lad time to settle in and to gel into the team. But yeah, he was a solid defender. You know, it was great to see Pearson back in, and as always, he's a solid player. So yeah, there were some really good positives. I was disappointed with our strikers today, as I said to in the commentary. You know, they
didn't have good games, did they?
Neither of them have a good game. You know, they weren't involved in the game in a lot at all. You know, was it Yusuf had a couple of turns on goal and shot, but you know, it didn't come off for him. But I thought they both had a very quiet game today. Yeah,
early in the first half, Yusuf was getting shots off, like you say, and he was missing the target. But I was feeling a bit encouraged because I felt that at least he was backing in and turning and hitting the ball. But then he really faded out of the game, and Thomas didn't dominate like he can do in the air.
No, Thomas was more like a spectator, to be honest, for me today, and that's why I thought, you know, we should have possibly switched it up and brought on Bigstaff a lot earlier and taken Thomas off. But at the end of the day, we're not. We could all be managers sitting on the sidelines.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah. Kenzie was saying how did he was saying before? Remember about Ryan Reynolds, and he said on what social media you watch it, would have to pay to stream it. So on the club websites, they have the links to be able to watch those. And Danny Dyer, hello again, Danny. Tell Keats Wrexham fans matter. I know, but I understand. Okay, I have said already that I thought we'd pick a stronger team, but I can spin it round the other way and say that it's probably good to give Cleworth a game because he is a backup centre back. Carrington needed the minutes. Pearson needed the minutes. Jarvis and Davis earned their chance on Tuesday, I think, and it was interesting to see Horsfield in a holding midfield role. He did well, I thought, in that role. And then he picks first choice strikers who didn't perform, to be fair.
Correct, yeah.
So I know what you mean, but I guess
the day, we're all Wrexham. We all feel it at the end of the day. We do feel it, and but as I said earlier, it's not so much of this game. I don't know why, because it's not a league game.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, cups are important. There are money generating. But we'll get over it like we have done many years.
Well, we were saying, weren't we, really, before we started doing this, it's disappointing to lose a game because it's not nice to. No. But in a way, this game, especially Neil's point about fixture congestion when there's COVID, I can understand. I don't feel as gutted as I could do, to be honest with you. You know, let's keep it in perspective.
It's going to get even worse and worse, Mark. Exactly, I mean, even when I was travelling over, there were games being postponed all over the country because of COVID restrictions. So it'll be a thing we're going to have to live with for the next 3 or 4 months. So,
yeah, exactly. Kenzie was asking about the streams. Yes, you pay every time for the streams, Kenzie. And Barry Thomas saying that Lucy was doing the commentary analysis on the live stream. She hit the nail on the head. Duddle walking to balls, and is surprised he stayed on in the second half. Maybe kept on for his penalty prowess. Certainly, Leamington brought a sub on to take a penalty, and he scored. Yeah, I think the balance was a bit in midfield. You've got Jarvis and Durrell ahead of Horsfield, and I just felt that is a little lightweight as a midfield. Horsfield is an anchoring midfield. No, that's okay. Jarvis and Durrell, I would say both of them, their natural position is a bit higher up the pitch than that, and you are running the risk of getting overrun in midfield, and I think that is what sort of happened more in the second half, wasn't it?
Definitely so, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then Owain Yogurts again. It's good to give players like people like Carrington a game. Keats has to understand we need to win games and maybe get a trophy. Well, I mean that is the classic modern problem of football: is managers trying to rotate and manage a fixture list alongside their desires to win a trophy. You're absolutely right. It's a tricky one.
It is. It's a tricky balancing act.
If you picked that team and had Young instead of Durrell, say, would we consider it to be overly weakened? I think it's I mean, the back three kept a clean sheet. I don't think we can blame them. I thought the three centre-backs did well.
No, but I think we were lucky to keep a clean sheet, Mark, to be fair.
Oh, okay, fair point. Yeah. But then are Kelleher and Vassell massively better than those three?
On paper, no, but they've had more match experience than the three that was out there.
Yeah.
But you've got to get the young ladder, a chance. As we may need him later on in the season, as we have suspensions and injuries. He may have to come in the team a lot more. The
Rutherford and Davis do well in the wing back positions. I think that in a real competitive game, I'd rather have Horsfield or Hall Johnson as the right wing back, or Carrington than Rutherford, which is not a criticism of Rutherford. I love him, but I think that his position again is higher up the pitch. Okay.
And it was a big surprise to me when he was taken off and substituted, which really surprised me.
Which again added maybe that experimental notion of the desire to see Jeffrey maybe play in that role, because if we keep playing like this, Jeffrey has no natural role in the team. Maybe that overcame the game situation. He wanted to try that, perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he didn't have really an impact on the game at all.
Yeah. And then we picked what you could argue is our first choice front two. And
we definitely had our first choice front two on, and they brought Bickerstaff on for the last 10 minutes or so, and they just didn't function as strikers. For whatever reason, we don't know. But first half the team played really, really well, which. Second half, Leamington sussed us out and were a far better team than we were.
Danny Dyer saying the only trophy in our club at the moment is Luke Young's Player of the Month. Hang on, Dean Keats Manager of the Month.
That's correct as well.
To be fair.
Yep.
And of course, my Lifetime Achievement Award in the field of keeping talking. And then Owen Yogurtson, do you think we'll go to this season and maybe sign some players in January? I would assume we're in a position to do that in January. That would be my assumption.
I would be very surprised if we didn't bring any new players in January. Ideally, prolific goal scorer, but we shall have to wait and see. None of us know on the media team. So
I should emphasise that. We've not got any inside line on that.
No.
But yes, I would assume that we would be looking at. I don't think a lot of new players. I think anyone who thinks that McElhenney and Reynolds will come in and rip everything up.
But then you start again, and you've got to start with a whole new team and get used to playing with each other. So maybe the odd one or two players, maybe all we need.
And to be fair to this squad, it's been erratic. But if you look at the league table, you would take that position 3 points off third. At this point, I mean, I'd rather be higher up. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, of course we will.
But considering that the team doesn't look properly settled yet, you would take this. And if we weren't getting a takeover, Keith would not have money in January, but would still feel this squad would develop. And I think this squad will develop. But I think, I think there'll be 2 to 4 signings max. I think. But key signings, because if we will have some money to spend in January, then what we need to do is spend it on, at the moment, a couple of quality players who make the difference rather than further padding out a squad, because the squad actually has got depth.
Yeah, we definitely got depth in it. We just need a prolific goal scorer who has got that instinct to get on the 6-yard or get on the penalty spot and put some balls in the back of the net.
Yeah.
But I can't see us going out and bringing wholesale players in. It'll be, as you say, maybe 2 or 3. I would have thought.
Oh, and Jorgits is just saying that he meant, will we go up this season? Now, Danny, we disagree over this. Okay, he said, don't mention Keats to me, and are you having a laugh? He said to Owen about going up with Keats. Owen's right saying, I know, but you never know. Now, come on, Danny. It's I think that going up is well. I mean, we're right off the playoffs. We're close to 3rd place. Never mind 7th. The only team with any proper gap is Torquay. And I think that I thought they looked good against us, but they then lost at home to Dagenham. I don't think Torquay are going to be one of those sides that tear away. I think they're going to be pulled back down into the scrap.
I think the league is wide open this season. Yeah, it may be run towards the end of the season, but
look at Sutton. Sutton is 2nd place. They're 6 points ahead of us in 2nd place.
Yeah, we smashed them here when we played them here.
And there's another 33 games left in the season. Yeah. There's a hell of... I know it's Christmas, and normally by Christmas the table's crystallised, but this is not a normal Christmas. No. We're essentially at the start of October, and everything is up in the air. We are in there. We're not down with Yeovil and Dover, who've balls their up. Oops, pardon my French. Sorry, Kenzie. We're not down there. No. We're in the mix.
Yeah, of course we're in the mix, yeah. And considering our season's been stop-start, have we had a whole month where we've played the whole month and played every game in that month?
Not at all.
No, because we've had games postponed, and being a footballer, that consistency is huge. Yeah. Match playing together and getting to know each other on the pitch. But you've got to be thinking for the Weymouth game. We had 2-week period when we had no games.
Yeah.
Which coming back for the Weymouth, it's a big struggle.
Yeah. Exactly.
Although you're out there training but being actually out on the pitch and playing a game against the opposition is much more different than being on the training pitch and just playing around with your mates.
Yeah.
So I think that inconsistency to playing and then not playing is having a detrimental effect on the team to a degree, because they can't keep that consistent team playing all the time.
Yeah, exactly. It's difficult to achieve, isn't it? Owen Jorgits asking the question, which actually I talked about on Tuesday in a live stream, so I'll see what you think about it. Neil, he's saying, we hope we sign Louis Moult or Andy Cook, 2 players who obviously got links to us, either as ex-players or as players that we know Keats has managed in the past.
Depends whether they're available. One, Moult, I believe, is
injured.
Is he at Preston?
Yeah. Now, my understanding is he's been injured, but there was talk of them looking for a loan to get him fit.
I'm not always an advocate of actually bringing back players to a team that have already left.
Yeah.
It's not guaranteed success, and they're going to score goals by coming back to a club.
I came to the same conclusion, not only because I think it's natural that fan gossip tends to centre on those sort of players,
of course,
because they know them, whereas well scouted, clubs that scout properly will know the other players that fans don't. So I would say that with Moult. Plus, if it's genuinely they're loaning him out because he's been injured and they want to get him fit, well, if we actually have some, in our old situation, if we got a preferential deal on that, I would take it. But if we've got money, at the moment, we don't have to take that sort of deal. We can go out and look to buy a player who, shall we say, a player currently doing well in League 2, shall we say, that sort of thing.
Depends how much money you'd be prepared to pay for that player. I don't think we should go out and, because we've got this, supposedly the money coming in, through the takeover, and just go and spend willy-nilly. I think we've got to be very sensible.
Yeah,
I'm sure
absolutely.
The new CEO will be on that case, and we've got to buy wisely, because that money's not going to be there, constantly.
Exactly. And then Andy Cook, I don't know where we got that name from, Danny. Definitely a player that Keats has in the past loved the thought of having and has tried to bring in. Again, the thing is that if we have a little bit more money, that probably means we're able to make a deal for that sort of player.
Yeah.
But it is, I suppose, let's be realistic. What other sort of players can we, if we've got enough money to make a decent deal, then we just got to, maybe we look at different players anyway. I don't know.
Personally, I would, because I'd go for fresh players that haven't no links to the club.
Well, sorry, Neil's camera's just gone crazy. There you go.
Oh, you're on camera?
Yes, Ollie, we're filming live on YouTube. Yes, there's our media manager there talking.
I know all about what content we put out.
Oh,
It's gone completely.
hope not. It better hadn't be. Hey, that is
There you go.
you. That's better, actually. Oh,
Not holding it.
I'll be back with you in a second, chaps. I know that Danny Dyer, you just told me to answer your question. The lights have gone off at the racecourse. You probably should get home.
Yeah.
Danny, I was getting to it, Lars. Getting to it. I don't agree with it. As you may know. Look, you're not sure about the coaching staff, but I would say you can't see the calibre of a coaching staff unless you've actually watched them coach. Certainly not with assistant managers. You really can't judge them. You can judge coaching staffs on results, to be fair, but then, like I said, I don't think results are that nightmarish anyway. So, I think we should go home, because the genuine, I've just switched all the lights off at the racecourse.
Total darkness in the racecourse.
Yeah, exactly. Lockdown comes early to Wrexham.
Yeah.
Okay. So keep the faith. Have a good Christmas. And
see you all back on the 28th of December at Stockport.
Let's hope we can get your results. And okie dokie. So,
Merry
ta-ta,
Christmas
chaps.
to you all.
Merry Christmas.